Hello, Starseeds. This is Oriah, and I am broadcasting from Southern California. And I am so happy that we found each other. Today is Sunday, and it is a very busy and loud day here at the beach. And everybody's out, so there is so much noise, but I'm going to go ahead and film. And if it picks up, that's just the state of affairs right now. I have been totally amazed and excited about the response from our United Starseed Connections group. And I am really happy that everybody has been so open and forthright about their journey, their story, the things that they're experiencing. And I just really appreciate that you guys are really bold and coming out, and the time is now that you can start to express yourself. And what a better time than now to start to just come out. So as this channel progresses and as I continue to post more how-to videos and share my stories, I will be curating a beautiful experience for everybody as it goes along. So if you have anything you would like to offer or share or want me to talk about, please leave it in the comments below. And today's video is our first how-to video, and I will be talking about remote viewing. Now, the thing is about how I learn a lot of the things that I know is through personal experience. And I don't read a lot of books, being that I'm a mother with 5 children. They're all grown pretty much, but I also am a full-time shaman, artist, and designer. And my husband, Mirza, is a well-known trance channel and shaman himself, so I help with that as well. So my days are really busy, but I am always learning. And I have been talking so much this week, I literally almost lost my voice. So let's see, where do I want to start? So in my plant medicine ceremonies, I have truly explored unknown regions and unknown depths that I never thought possible, and that has crossed over into my dream state, that has crossed over into my day-to-day experience with myself and with my environment and the people around me. And one of the gifts, if you would like to call it, I call it just a natural part of the operating system, is remote viewing. So how remote viewing started for me was quite by accident. And I know you probably don't want to hear that if you wanted to practice for yourself, but let me show you how I did it. So maybe you could accidentally slip into remote viewing yourself. So it started where I would be talking to somebody and I would see an image flash over their face, like a symbol. And sometimes it was an object like a house or a car or something from a television show or nature. It was always some symbology that was presented to me in a way that I would understand. And in the beginning, I would ignore it. I didn't know what it was until I started to watch how my husband was handling it. And he would just verbally announce what he just saw. And the person would always confirm that there's some truth to what he was saying. So I started that way. And I said, I'm seeing a house by the mountains. I don't know, is there something there? And they would say, yeah, I mean, that's my dream, to go live up by the mountains and have my own homestead. And, that's all I think about. For instance, that's an example of how I would begin. So it started with just visuals and just very subtle imagery that would just cross over my inner eye, my third eye. And I would then just casually mention it. And in the beginning, I would tell people, listen, I'm new to this, but I get stuff. And so I'm just going to say what I see and what I feel. And if it resonates for you, then great. So that's how I started. And it would be 100% almost, I would say it was probably 100% accuracy, because it came out of nowhere. I wasn't thinking of anything, and then that thought would pop in my head. So I started to get more and more comfortable with that, and more comfortable speaking my truth. So I would say, I see this, or I see that, and this is what I'm feeling, or my arm hurts. Like, I don't know why my arm hurts. And they would say, well, I just twisted my arm yesterday, something like that. So in the beginning, I was really getting excited because I thought, wow, so I'm like a psychic now. This is great. Like, I didn't know what exactly that meant, but it was working. So what was happening is, as I opened this channel and as I surrendered into it and released and let go and trusted, I would get more images. And then I would get more in-depth images. And then it started to get to the point where, since I was flowing so rapidly with the imagery that I would get, it would start coming out in long sentences. So I would say, I see this, 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 and this. They'd be like, yes, 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 and yes. So for instance, like on our Facebook community, there's been a few people that, as I'm responding to, I immediately am getting a feeling. So this one woman, I just responded to her today, I forget her name, and I immediately felt rabbit energy. I felt hopping along, and I said a little cute poem in my head, like, I think her name was Jennifer. Here's Jennifer hopping along. And I was like, that's a clue. When I have weird things like that in my head, that's a message. So I immediately tune in and go, oh, rabbit energy. Okay, so rabbits symbolize fertility. They symbolize spiritual rebirth, abundance, magic, speed, thoroughness, precision. And so immediately when I feel rabbit energy, I immediately know where this person is at. And some people, I feel grounded earth energy, so strong, elemental. And in that, I will start to feel mothering, midwifery, babies, pushing out, labor intensive. So those are usually those healers that roll up their sleeves and like really get down and dirty with people when they help them. They're straight shooters and they speak from their heart, and could be sounding abrasive at times, but the information is super powerful and they're super grounded, and they usually have a lot of people that lean on them in their community. So if I was talking to somebody, I think her name was Ali, and I was talking to her a couple of days ago, and I immediately felt this energy, and I asked her about it, and she said, absolutely. That's exactly how she is. And then there was another woman I was talking to, and it was instant. I felt water. At first I felt she was dehydrated, and then I felt tons of water around her, and then I felt she needs to be in water, and it was just a lot of water. And so she's like, yeah, I'm a Scorpio. So this comes really, really fast to me now because I have trusted the process so much. So this is how I got started with remote viewing. So then the next stage is it's kind of, you have to be playful. First of all, little side note, in order to be spiritually advanced, the key, besides surrendering to it, is there is a playful energy. That is so important. And a lot of people miss this crucial point. If you're rigid, uptight, mad, stressed, think everybody's doing it wrong, super mad that nobody's doing it right, you want to heal the world and you want to take care of everybody and you don't know what's going on and you're mad, that's a stage. But you're definitely not at the stage where you can have fun and play and really advance fast. So my suggestion is to lighten up. You don't need substances for this. You can use herbal substances and helpful holistic substances, but make sure you take care of your body. That'll be another video, but be playful. I can't stress it enough. People think I'm really lighthearted and fun, and they don't really know how much I know. And it's because the more you know, the more exciting it gets. And the more you know, the more playful it gets. And I know some of you out there know exactly what I'm talking about. So you're like the kid at the party, and it's ageless, and you never age. So I just turned 47, and I meet people all the time that are like me, and they're 57 and 67, and they look like unbelievable. And they're like 10 to 15 years younger than themselves, how they Most people look. And that's because they're living from their heart, and they're totally expressed, and they're totally relaxed, and they're having fun and enjoying themselves. And we've been taught to believe that those are the jokers, those are the ones you don't take serious, those are the ones that don't have powerful information to share, and they don't have powerful legs to stand on. And it turns out, if you look a little deeper, it turns out we have so much information. You actually get giddy, is what it is. You get so excited with the spirit of love, and the spirit and the energy and the frequencies and the colors and the sounds and the sensual experiences that you're having. It just encompasses you, and it's intoxicating. Where my job comes in, and I know I'm segueing from remote viewing, so hang in there. I try to get a lot of information in. My job comes in as a shaman, as a healer, as a teacher, is I try to encourage people when they start this process, they'll get this really big surge and this lots of energy. Like when I first started this, like in 2010, I didn't sleep for 2 weeks. And that has never happened to me before. I was always a lead weight, and I was so exhausted. But no, I was buzzing full of light, and my ears were adjusting, and there was frequency changes, and I was getting ready to listen to other dimensions, and my body was recalibrating. My diet changed. I didn't want dairy anymore. I wasn't heavy into meats anymore. I wanted to go more vegetarian and lighter. And I've done everything from raw food to breatharian to you name it, I've done it. And I found what suits me and my blood type. That being said, being light and being relaxed and having fun is key to advance spirituality. You can be serious, you can be intense when people are hurting themselves and they're literally physically damaging their being, their beautiful avatars that we have been given. You can get intense and serious with them, which I have many times, and people who know me know that I can go really hecate and super, super strong and bold and help people through the darkest, most terrifying black holes that they have found themselves in. However, my natural state is to be at this neutral position with an added sense of excitement. And it's just there. It's there all the time, morning to night. It's not like I'm walking around like dee 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 dee. I'm not doing that, but I'm connected. I'm connected to what I'm doing. I'm tasting what I'm eating. I'm really feeling what I'm listening to. I'm not making anything wrong because you're past that. You're in a stage of acceptance, allowance of what's happening. You just allow the world around you to continue doing what it's doing, and you play your integral part. So another thing that I do is help people find their talents and their skills, because when you find out who you are and what you can bring forward to humanity, that's where we all get to enjoy each other's talents and skills, and we can play in this arena of magic where everybody gets to play with each other's skills. That's why I'm always so excited to ask, like, what can you do? It's really fun. Some communities get really uptight about that. They're like, well, what do you mean? I'm a psychic, da 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 da. Don't tell me anything. Like, they're so serious. So anyway, let's go back to remote viewing. So I would be talking to somebody and I get this like really strong image, and it lasts for a minute or two. And it's like I'm walking through a doorway, or I'm walking through a room, or I see a car, or I'm in a parking lot, or I'm like flying above some trees. So I'll mention that to the person. Sometimes I can do this when I'm talking to them via text. I don't even have to really hear their voice. Or I can see a picture of them if I want to. There's places I go within myself where I silence myself and be very still, and I can start to feel like a Technicolor 3D experience. When this first started, I did not know this was a thing. I thought it was just a part of the psychic symbology that I was doing. But when I started to experiment with it with my friends, I would say, like, I freaked out one of my younger friends, and I said to him, so I think I can totally tell you the layout of your entire house and your room. And he's like, okay, do it, because I've never been to his house. So I said, when you walk in the front door, there's these 2 white pillars on either side. And he was like, yeah. And I said, okay, so it's a big door. You walk in, there's this white marble floor. The kitchen's to the left, the bedroom, your bedroom is on the first floor to the right. He was stunned. He just stared at me like, how did you know that? And I said, wait, I'm not done. I had to keep talking really fast, and I told him the whole layout of his house. I told him what was on his kitchen counters. I told him what smoothie ingredients were next to his blender. I told him when he go into his room how he was organized or disorganized. I told him where his bed was at. I told him what his bedspread looked like. I told him where everything was laid out and where his TV was. And he was staring at me so hard that he couldn't even talk. And then he got freaked out because he was like, oh my God, what else can you see? Like, are you literally spying on me? And I'm like, no, I'm not spying on you. I literally can see everything in your house. And I don't know how I'm doing this right now. But it's because I have trusted the process all along and I opened myself up to more. And so I was able to like get used to speaking in this language of symbology, this language of energy, feeling, colors, and shapes. So then it became more and more in depth. So I would then be laying in bed right before I go to sleep, and all of a sudden I feel like I'm soaring like a bird, and I'm flying, and I'm going over like a river or something like in Alaska, and I'm like, why am I here? Like, what am I doing? And I look around and I'm realizing that my energy had literally jumped into the spirit of a bird, like an eagle probably. And I was enjoying the flight experience, which is all I've ever wanted. So here I am, and I'm floating, I'm gliding so beautifully over this like beautiful blue river system. It's bubbling and there's big trees on either side, and I'm just like cruising through, and it's so fun. And I have no idea why I'm doing that. And you know what? In the beginning, I used to shut it down because I thought, what am I doing here? This is weird. And then I was realizing, wait a minute, this is like everything I've ever wanted. This is like the ultimate. This is what I really want, is like being awake in a dream state, but you're awake. You're not yet asleep. So most of my activities like that would happen right as I was falling asleep. So my husband and I got into a pattern where before we go to sleep, we would both stop, hold hands like we always do because we're going to take off. And we would say to each other, okay, what do you see? And then sometimes, like my husband always sees like sacred geometry and lots of symbology with sacred geometry and lots of colors and objects moving, and like he goes in and out of swirls. And then for me, I see like things that exist, like I'll see donuts, like big bright orange donuts sitting on a table, and then I see like that morphs into a penguin. And then like we'll start playing these games, and we'll just keep going, and that leads us through the doorway where we start going deeper into remote viewing. So my husband has done remote viewing on the moon, on many different planetary systems. He's been on the shores of many planets. He's walked along the beautiful, beautiful white sandy beaches with the purple skies. He has been in beautiful environments. And then for myself, because I have this huge interest in our future, I have had many, many dreams, lucid dreaming, and remote viewing where I have been in future cities. I've been in future cities. I've been walking amongst people, buildings, environments where the future takes place. I would say probably close to 1,000 years into the future. What else can I say? Where remote viewing is difficult for me, or maybe I have a belief system that doesn't really allow me to fully go into it from this perspective, is when people ask me certain questions about, is so-and-so okay? Can you check in on them? I can do that. It's not my first pleasant experience, and I always get the energy imprint of what the person just asked me. So then I immediately have to like dismantle that and like have that not be a part of the reading. So then I go neutral, and then I take a breath, and then I go into my own experience of what I see in this person's home. And 9 times out of 10, I'm accurate. I'm just not as detailed because I can sense there's trouble or there's some heavy energy, which makes it hard for me to go in there because my own belief system is I don't want to interfere, or I feel like it's kind of like a rude feeling, like I don't want to just go into someone's home. So I have this innate understanding that just comes with my operating system that I just don't need to be invasive. I don't need to be, it's like I'm politically correct, I guess you would say. Like I don't just barge into people's homes and go, hey, I see you, you're laying in a bed. However, it's very easy for me to do that. So if I have a friend who calls me in a positive light and says to me at night when I go to sleep, I don't know what's going on, but I'm laying there with my partner and we're both just laying there stiff. We won't talk to each other. I don't know. It just only happens at night before we go to sleep and we're super uneasy. So in that regard, because it's part of my teachings and my healing work and my shamanic work, I immediately tune in and I go in and I can visually see a snapshot of them laying there. And when I see it, I can feel the tension and the energy and the insecurities or the storyline of what's happening. But it's a very respectful place. I never come from anything that feels like I'm invading. I only do it for the highest good, I guess you could say. So I know there's a lot of different kinds of remote viewing out there. I know that the FBI, CIA, government agencies have hired a lot of people to do remote viewing for various nefarious reasons. But that's not why I do it. I, by the way, didn't know I was doing remote viewing a good couple years into it. So I actually was in full-blown remote viewing mode all the time and did not know that's what it was. I didn't have a name for it. And I didn't really know if I needed a name for it. I just knew that I could feel and see projections. And I will say, there are some times I've gone into some remote viewing situations that I've gotten uncomfortable, where the energy of the household or the energy of the person was a definite no, and it was like written on their walls. You know, like in a Sims game. So let's imagine like there's somebody else's house and somebody else's little family that they've created. So it would be like if I go into that family or that home, but they had put some barriers up in that wall so that you can't come in and see. So although I could barge my way in, that's not my intention ever. So I would feel this awkward feeling of like, ooh, I don't belong here. And it feels really strong. So then I back away and I just leave it alone. But that in and of itself is a message for me. So for instance, my life is an open book. I really believe I have like literally transparent walls. I know that I have a mothership above my head. I'll go into that another time. Up above our roof that's been there a long time. I know that psychics can tune into us. I know people can feel us and see us if they tune in. And sometimes that scares people because like, they're thinking, why should I do that? Why should I tune into you and your husband? That's awkward. Some people want to know if we're for real or not, or how deep do we go or whatever. And sometimes they tune into us and they'll tap in and they'll feel like, wow, I really felt you guys. And so I have a lot of people, I call it on my network. It's the OM network. So I am on this network that I created. By the way, I'm making all of this up myself. No books are telling me anything, so I don't know if I'm using proper language for any of it, but it doesn't matter because as long as it works. So I have created like a network. And in this network, it's like an angelic hotline. And so I have a lot of people on the line. Some are people who have asked to be on the line. It's like a healing line. Some people are there they want me to hold space for them. They're fine. They don't want to hear from me. They don't need anything from me. They just want me to hold the line. They want me to just hold on to them. And those of you who are watching that know me know exactly who you are. And then there's others that want me to tug on the line and let them know I'm watching, I'm hearing, I'm feeling you, and I love you, and I got you. Don't worry. Those people feel it. I call it pings. They feel my pings. So even if I don't respond to their text, I'm louder on this angelic hotline than I am actually via text or a phone call. So they feel me instantly and they'll have something that will correspond to my message. So if I send them a message, I'll send them like a little airwave message, they'll get it. And then they'll like do something or hear something or turn the TV on and all of a sudden there's like an answer or confirmation to my message. So synchronicity. So this hotline, the reason I created it is because when I first started and I was getting involved with a lot of people as a shaman, working like 2 clients a day, I was working 7 days a week for years and leading group journeys in the desert and weekend retreats with 20 people plus with my husband and I and women's retreats. And it was like gangbusters. During that time, I had a lot of people that would kind of pull me aside and say, I need you like really bad and I can't afford to work with you. I don't really know what to do. I can't like even visually come see you in person, but I need to be around your energy. There's something about you. Can you help me? And I would talk to them for a while and I would get their energy imprint. I would lock into their frequency. It's like codes. and I would lock in. Now, sometimes I can't lock in because they're too wild. They're out of control, and I have to give them steps to how to calm down, how to relax, and sometimes that could take a couple years. But if they're very serious, they could do it right away. And once they calm down and relax, take a few deep breaths, I can find their frequency and their connection, and I can lock into them. And when I do, it's really exciting. To me, it's more fun and exciting to speak from this place than even speaking any other medium, because it's not only telepathic, but it's energy imprint. It's instantaneous feeling, instantaneous thought. It's automatic, and people feel me instantly. They'll text me, oh my God, I was just thinking about you. And I would say, yes, because I just sent you a ping. Now, when I send a ping to somebody, the reason I do is usually because their guides alert me that there's something going on, and they may not have a direct line to their guides yet. So they find me in the human body form, and it's easier for them to connect to me. And so there, I'm like a liaison. So I get a message from their guides, there's something going on with Shirley, like lock in. Now, normally the guides don't tell me what it is, but sometimes if it's very serious, they'll kind of give me an inkling that there's danger, like they're hurting themselves, like there's suicide as a possibility on the horizon, or they're drinking themselves to death, or some version of that. So then I'll get a more specific message about that person. But normally it's just like, hey, give that person a heads up because they're not listening to us. So just tell them that you're there. So I will send them a ping. I kind of shake the line. It's kind of like I send out a quick, like vibratory, like if you hit a xylophone, it feels like that. It's like a ping, and it just goes out, and that person feels it, which when that first started happening, that was mind blowing, because when they would come back to me and tell me that they would feel it, I was like absolutely stunned and floored, because I'm just like you guys, right? I'm just like, what do you mean I have these powers? It's not technical powers. It's like I literally was just discovering all this stuff inside of me. That's why I started this group page, because I want to help everybody pull their talents out. This is what I'm talking about, and you can help so many people this way. So I send this ping out, the person gets it, and they immediately will text me or call me and say, I was just thinking about you really hard, and I realized that I'm okay, and thank you so much for looking out for me. Now, some people know they're on the hotline, and they are happy to be there, and some people graduate from the hotline, they don't need it anymore, they go straight to their guides, and they thank me for the time that they were with me. And then there's other people that have no idea they're on my line, and those are the people that are in crisis, like deep crisis. Not the kind of crisis that they can verbally tell me about, but the kind of crisis that I know about, that I can sense and feel, that is unbeknownst to them. It's similar to like a soul that's trying to expire itself. It's like a soul who's trying to dismantle itself and eliminate itself from existence. Now, for those of you who want to try that, by the way, it is possible. You can kill your soul. And I have tried to do that because of my 20 years of trauma and violence and all the stuff that I went through. There was many times I was manic, many times I was suicidal. And during those times, I tried to kill my soul. When I was so frustrated, I just could not get to the end of my solution. I couldn't find my solution. So in that regard, I wanted to commit suicide, but soul suicide. I didn't have the guts to do physical suicide, so I just wanted to eliminate the idea that I existed. And I spent a lot of time, a couple years in this zone, and it's a scary zone. It's pure pitch black in there, and all you hear is your tormenting voice going in circles, and sometimes you'll even attract really adventurous and gnarly guides, aliens, like that will come and kind of help you out. So what they don't know is that there's an innocence to this area. You don't really realize you're doing it. It's just that your pain has gotten so great and your anger has gotten so great, you want to tap out, but you can't physically tap out. So you want to mentally burn out, fry, and then you want to go into your infrastructure and call it quits internally. I know this sounds really crazy. I know I say a lot of really out there concepts, but just hang in there with me. It'll all make sense at the end of the day, trust me. And especially if you ask me questions, I'll answer whatever I can. So when I was coming across this soul death, this was a very, very, very serious thing for me. And so one day I decided to take it all the way. I wanted to see what would happen if I totally, completely went to zero. I wanted to go, and I've done it in sacred medicine journeys, but like that's different because like you're aided by the plant medicine. But in this case, I wanted to see if I can do a total shutdown of the system, like system, like, you know, power off. And go to zero. No identity, no personality, no characteristics, no beliefs, no idea who I am, don't care, don't want to know. I'm just going to go all the way to the end. So I did one day. I reached my max. I was like getting there slowly but surely. I was like 90% and 95, 98% ready to do it. Finally, this incident happened that put me over the edge. And I was like, that's it. I'm out. I'm out. I'm totally done. So I started to withdraw myself, and I started to feel this darkness invade and completely 100% envelop me, similar to the beginning of creation when you first are created. So you're going back to your original state, the zero, like zero mode where there's no information. So you're just not even created yet. So I started going back into that, and I was really happy and proud of myself at the time. I was like, yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. And so I just kept like going back and back until like the personality was leaving me, the character was leaving me, and I was starting to get this neutral feeling and cool feeling and cold feeling, and it started to get more distant from earth feeling. And I started to get very disconnected, and then I started to get uncomfortable. And then I said, well, let me dismantle uncomfortability. And then I started to get scared, and let me dismantle fear. And any little human emotion, let me dismantle human emotion. And I just kept going. Now, as a scientist, that's probably one of the reasons why I did it, because I like to explore. But on the overview picture, it's because I really wanted to end my soul. So I kept going and kept going and kept going until I got to zero. And then I saw there was like a doorway. And in this doorway, it was like there's no return. Like you go in this door and there's no coming back. So it's like you are, it's kind of like you are giving back your soul contract. Like you're saying, here, no thanks, I'm out. So it was kind of like I felt that feeling of disconnecting from my contract to be here on the planet, and something really serious took over me where I saw my power and I saw I was able to do this. And I realized that if I can do this, then in reverse, I can do anything. So all of a sudden I got this jolt where I realized that if I can do a soul death, I could also do a banging, awesome soul life. So then that's when I said, fuck this, I'm out. I'm going to have fun. I'm going to play. I'm going to go full out. And I haven't looked back, and it's been years now. So those people I have on the line, those people that are in this phase of checking out, like at such a high level, and like disturbing their body and disturbing their environments, the ones that really are in their innocence and they really want more, but they don't know how, and they're kind of quiet, like they're not making too much of an uproar. The ones that are loud are not the ones that are in trouble. It's the silent ones. It's the ones that are just in the background, you know, the silent ones. Those are the ones I go after. I'll find you, man. And I used to be like that in school too. I used to find the quiet ones and befriend them. And I know lots of you are like that, and that's where that comes from. So anyway, I would pull them in energetically. I'd rope my little golden Wonder Woman lasso around them and pull them in, and I'd feed them like IV drip. I would just feed them love and light, love and light, love and light all the time. I may have only met this person once or twice. I've done it to a lot of celebrities that I believe have a big impact in the world, but they're lost or they can't find their way, but they have some special imprint that I know something is very unique about them, and they can make a big difference in the world. Not Tom Cruise and people like that. Okay, these are like not at that level. Okay, they're people that are trying. I'll send out a ping. There's other people that don't want support. They don't want help. They don't want angelic help. They don't want guides helping them. They don't want family helping them. They don't want anybody helping them. They're in their own parade, their own drama. They're deeply in their own Shakespearean play. So with them, hasta la vista, I love you, but we'll see each other next time. So I see there's no room for anything. There's no room for friendship. There's no room for play. There's no room for growth. There's no room for anything. They want to run their horses ragged. They want to run their course out. And I've been there myself, so I know all about it, okay, in many ways. So it's all God, so I respect the journey. I respect the evolution, and I just say, okay, you know, you are where you are, and I love you, and you just go your way. That's it. It's just really easy for me, and I bless their journey and I move on, because it's not about me. It's not up to me. It's their journey. But if I feel I can make a difference, if I can come in and do something in the energetic, interdimensional realities, then I will. And so how this all ties into remote viewing is because remote viewing, yes, it's kind of a fun magic trick, but it's really actually used for the higher good of humanity. So it's used to help heal, evolve, and grow yourself and others, and to interconnect. It helps us all find each other in the golden grid, and we can all say, hey, what's going on? And so angelic connections. And, you know, it's fun that we're on Facebook with a group page that is doing the same thing in the 3D, but there is a whole bigger network, bigger framework going on that is the golden grid. It's like golden threads, and it's just this interstellar light frequencies that are moving through the grids. And it's a place that you can have fun and talk, and you could share. So don't be afraid of anything I just said, and understand that I am just like you, and I've come a long way, and I've learned a lot of things, and I'm very grateful, and I'm just in my full expression of who I believe I am, and it's going to continue to grow. And so if you found this video useful, please subscribe and comment on my YouTube channel, and also please come to our group and sign in and meet everyone and see what we're all about and what we're talking about. And Monday, I think it's the 18th of May, I am hosting and interviewing Omarian Atman, who is a master astrologer, who has been my astrologer for my family and my friends. He is 100% Atlantean, Lemurian, like he is the gatekeeper from Thor movie. Like he is that guy. He is so powerful, and he's so knowledgeable, and he's coming with all his expertise and information on how to find your lineage in your cosmic map and look at your star map. And we're going to film it on Zoom, and then I'm going to post it so you can watch it as many times as you want. And this is going to be the first of many interviews, and I have so many other goodies. And if there's any other questions you have about things that I can answer for you, I'd love to share what I know. So until next time, namaste, and much love to my galactic friends.